Good morning and welcome to the new edition of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. In any society, the most important thing is education because that aims at building up the new citizens and the future citizens. This is a system that makes or mars a society or a country. And what we have seen in most of the societies is that while in some societies, pragmatic, visionary leadership provides a new outlook and gives a new direction to education, leading to progress, and some just make the whole system so stupid. Rarely do we come across pragmatism coupled with some deficiencies, and sometimes that is acceptable. Countries like South Korea, like Singapore, lead in educational revolution. And that is because their leadership is visionary. It may be corrupt for the present, but when they are thinking of the future, their idealism brooks no competition. And that is why, whether it is STEM or PACE, it is countries like Singapore, it's countries like South Korea, it's countries like Norway and Denmark who are in the A category. Now, Ontario here has a bigger GDP than most of the countries of the world. But unfortunately, till now, the system has not been very well suited to the progress and to increase innovation, creativity, as well as provide new insight. In mathematics, Ontario students are at the bottom of the list. In science, apart from some examples, they are nowhere. In communication, language mastery, well, the lesser said, the better it is. But here comes the new premier, and on this week, he had revealed a new system, significant system, not just tweaks. All leaders do some tweaking in the process, but here has been significant system. And some of them, while I'll laud up, I'll praise, and some parts are really, really so ridiculous that as I was remarking to a guy the other day, that now the immigrants will be very happy, the new immigrants. I mean, when the new immigrants come, they are amazed that this school system is so different and it does not create competitive spirit and it does not encourage students to study hard. Now the education system would be transmuted to a certain extent that they'll be reminded of the back home. The classes would be more crowded, so they will not miss that country. And then, if you look at the system, there's increased intermediate and high school classes. And there's a change in the elementary mathematics, which is very welcome sign because, as I said, in mathematics, the Ontario students are at the bottom level. There is a change also in the same-sex education system. But one thing which greatly impressed me, and I was so happy, is a province-like wide ban on cell phones in the classroom. Cell phones are a bane, and as a matter of fact, harmful, deleterious, wasteful. The old system that you use a phone in case of an emergency is no longer valid. And carrying the cell phone to the classroom is a distraction which must have been avoided, should have been avoided long back. And this action of the government is excellent action because it starts rebuilding successful lives, families. And as Education Minister said, that they want to modernize the classroom, protect the future of the education system, and ensure that they have the skills to be successful in life and also build up businesses here. Now, what happens is that this education system they have come up is after months-long consultation process. But as I said, there is an unmixed blessing. The average classroom today has 22 students. But now they say, no, they'll go up to 28. And when you go up to 28, you can always manipulate it that it goes to 30, 32. Ontario high schools had a major plus point, and that was it was the lowest student-teacher ratio in the whole of the country. And now it won't have that. Now, this is something very non-plusing and very puzzling. They say that they want to be up with the other provinces. Why be up with the other provinces? Why try to equal the other provinces in negative things or in wrong things? You should have said, okay, we are going to make a class of 11 students so that each student gets an individual time from the teacher. I would have welcomed that you are different. But here you say, no, we are like sheep. We want to follow the flock. Mindless ants follow each other. And this is the province of Ontario, which coming up with a revolutionary system. The new elementary mathematics is excellent. And that's something which should have been done long back. Now, coming back to the point that the classroom are going to be increased, there's a negative effect as well that is going to cause a loss of employment. Although the minister says there'll be no reduction in the number of the teachers, according to the researchers, statisticians, and as said by Harvey Bishop, president of the Ontario Secondary Schools Teachers Federation, that 5,500 teachers would be affected. Now, 5,500 families being affected by a change is quite a number. It is reality, a sledgehammer blow to the education system. And secondly, another problem is that the classroom sizes are dictated and negotiated at the local level. But here, the government has come down and said, no absolute impasse at the bargaining table. The classroom percentage of the students must go up. And not only there, the students at the lower level and the elementary and the middle class need more attention. Here, the average class size would increase to 25 and more. The word "and up" is used, so that gives a latitude to the local school boards and the principals that if they say goes up to 25, they can have 30, they can have 35, they can have 40. Taking up the plea, well, look here, more students are coming and we can't say no to the students. So they would keep on admitting it, and as I said earlier, this would give quite a lot of psychological satisfaction to the new immigrants when they say overcrowded classrooms, which shall remind them of their homes. And it's going to affect not only the public schools, but also the Catholic schools. While 5,500 teachers would lose their jobs in the public schools, 5,000 teachers would also lose jobs in the Catholic schools, so the total loss would be 10,000 students. Now, another thing is that though they have said that the cap would be 28 students, they have also said that in the kindergarten and the primary classes, it can go up to 40 students, and in some cases, more than 40 students. So there have been a lot of places where there are leakage is possible, where there are flouting of the rules is possible. And the whole system, when in kindergarten you have 29 students in a classroom, where you used to have 15, is something not acceptable. Now, according to the sexual orientation, the curriculum will be introduced by default. Gender identity will be introduced in grade 8 rather than grade 2. Now, here is something amazing. Gender identity, identifying a male or a female, is not such a controversial thing that you should wait till the 8th standard. Better not teach them at all, because by the time they're in the 3rd or the 4th standard, or even the 2nd standard, they are aware of the gender identity. So it's a wastage of resources. Now, the revised sex education curriculum would replace the interim teaching plan of 1998. But is it sensible? Now, 2015 curriculum addressed consent, online bullying, sex texting, same-sex relationship, and gender identity. There's nothing wrong with that. As a matter of students at the age of 10 need to know the bullying, especially online bullying. One positive thing then that the classroom cell phones have been banned is good. But the moment they come out of the classroom, they have the cell phone. Then, the province has said that the parents will be able to opt out of the kids exposed to the certain topics of the same-sex education. If the parents are to be the people who decide what should be taught and what should not be taught, then that hits at the very concept of the public education. Not all parents, I'm nothing against the parents deciding, but not all parents are capable enough to take responsible decisions. And when they cannot take responsible decisions, giving them the freedom to take decisions is fraught with danger. The core impact should be on protecting the students physically, socially, and emotionally. And many times parents fail to do so. So here is the role of the government to step in. And here also the government has failed. The conservative values of the family life have overtaken the social values of the welfare. And then, back to mathematics, this is something again welcome. The Ontario new mathematics curriculum will be based on fundamentals, and there will be a strong element of financial literacy. So-called discovery mathematics, introduced earlier, will not be the normal. This is welcome because, as I said, in mathematics, Ontario is at the rock bottom. Now, Ontario high schools will also receive a new thing, a revised curriculum of the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit studies. This has been very welcome. The divide between the Native Canadians, the Métis, the Inuits, the First Nations, and the immigrants, whether they are new or old, white-skinned or the brown-skinned or black-skinned, has been too much. And that is welcome sign. As a part of the wider reform, the government plans to review hiring practices, which is important. And the current practices are bad. They only take care of seniority. No, seniority might be welcome, but not in education. Another thing which seems to have been taken note for the first time is the teacher mobility. As a matter of fact, there should be much more mobility at the provincial level. If that is taken care of, that would lead to a better teaching, because the teachers becoming mobile would not only be mobile horizontally but also vertically. There'll be more avenues for their promotion, and that is always welcome sign. On the whole, the new system is a compendium of the good points and the bad points. The best point being, of course, on the banning of the cell phone, and the worst point being increasing the number of the students. On the whole, classrooms are going to be crowded. Teachers are not going to give that attention to the students, but the students would have to absorb whatever the teacher is teaching, because they'll have no cell phones to fall back on. They say the taste of the pudding lies in the process of eating. The process starts in this year itself, but spread over the next 4 years. So let's see how it's going to taste and see the implementation part. Theory sometimes can be excellent, but the implementation can not always be deemed to be perfect. Would it be perfect this time? Let's wait and watch. Thank you.